anything. We're not voting on any resolutions. The minutes from last month will be deferred. Okay? So let's begin since it is 6 o'clock. Roll call. Would you take the roll,
Yep.
please, Brianna?
I
gonna be
have, yeah. Chair Belsky is excused. John Franco,
Here.
Keith Gray. Just excused.
I'll put excuse there.
Okay. Felix Garcia.
I hadn't heard from Garcia or Caro, so
He's
just put absent then.
Okay. Frederick Bookhouse.
I'm here.
Aaron Caro is absent, and then John Morrissey.
Here.
Perfect. And then for youth and governments, we have Sasha and Dylan.
Here.
Perfect.
Very good. Okay, are there any citizen comments? Any citizen comments? Doesn't look like it. Okay, citizen comments are closed. Any supervisor comments? Nope. Pressing? No? Okay, I don't have anything particular to say at the moment, so let's move on. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes from our, oh, sorry, we will defer that till next month because we don't have a quorum. All right, well, let's move right along. Sheriff's report.
Aaron's here.
Oh, Aaron's here, correct. We do have a quorum now. So he is present.
Sorry about that.
Okay, so let's do the vote on the minutes then, since we have a quorum now. Okay, we have a first by Supervisor Morrissey, second by Supervisor Brookhouse. We're voting on the minutes from last month. Youth and governance, how vote you?
Aye.
Aye. Committee?
Aye.
Okay. Minutes passed. Okay, Sheriff's report, Sheriff Zerner.
Sir, thank you, everyone. I was ready. My voice a little bit there. Gave a presentation to an elderly group today and I had to yell. It was a big room. So I just want to touch base on our updates on what's been going on, our staffing. So our recruiting is in full swing. Hiring process for correctional officers and deputy sheriff is active currently. We're full at CO. We do have plenty of those in training though at this time. And there's no vacancies at deputy. So there's some in the academy as well. Emergency management over that time. Oh, before I go to that, our promotional system is running again, our captain test. Our test date is coming up as we're anticipating potential retirees. Some people don't want to stay here forever. No, I'm not saying who, but at any rate, so that process has started and we're working with HR to get that all ready to go. The emergency management, I'd like to touch base on that because it's a topic that comes up every once in a while and doesn't get talked about it, I think. We had no activation of the emergency or the EOC as of late. In summertime, we were very busy, obviously, as you all were well aware. We had flooding in the summer, right? But we didn't suffer any crisis here in Kenosha County. We monitored that through the emergency management office, started having touch and base constantly. And we all watch those levels as well as county exec. And it was a concern for us because we were right there at that flood day within a couple of feet. 100% did, and we did well. Mitigate, and I asked him, but how bad is it getting? How fast is that bad? Because it's been a while for me since I've been on the road doing that. The mitigation efforts by the county over the past several years has been effective. The county purchased several houses down the Fox River floodplain area, and that's helped a lot. So we had no loss, no problems. And for that mitigation efforts, I appreciate county board's work. Thank you. Like I said, busy summer. Over the summer, we hosted several interns. We went beyond what we normally do. They just applications kept coming. We had some real strong ones, so we had several, and we just received some notes from them over the past week, thanking us. They had a great time. One of those young women is attending Carthage her senior year, and she plans on applying to be deputy sheriff of Kenosha County. So that worked out good. She had a real fun time. So a very colorful young lady. So a lot of fun in that letter. Very enthusiastic person. I am at Country Thunder right now, but I will defer to the captain to get out of the seat here so we can talk about Country Thunder. This is endeavor. Thank you, sir. That's my oh. You have a good looking phone, sir. But,
so, Country Thunder this year went off pretty much without a hitch. We didn't have I mean, we had our issues, but it was a typical Country Thunder with 473 calls for service. The majority of those, fortunately, were 911 hangups, which get marked down as calls for service. I'm not, we had 11 in custody arrests or criminal arrests, 27 charges inside of those arrests. They ranged anywhere from battery, including a first-degree reckless injury causing great bodily harm, all the way to a trespass and disorderly conduct. So, and we issued 197 tickets this year to patrons or people around Country Thunder related to the festival. Country Thunder was very cooperative, did everything we asked them to do. And everything was set up as we had planned and as we expected them to. There are a few things regarding lighting and some traffic things that we're going to make little adjustments to next year. And as far as I'm concerned, it was very smooth and there weren't any traffic backups. If they were for a few minutes, getting people in and then getting people out took approximately 45 minutes to an hour for the main rushes of traffic, which is expected with that many cars. I kind of compare it to, you know, you go to a Brewer game and you're stuck in the parking lot for an hour. It's kind of the same thing. You're stuck in the lot for a few minutes and then you get out.
Did it rain one day really badly, one evening?
It rained overnight. It was Friday or Saturday
Yeah.
night, but
There always seems to be one day where that happens.
it got a little muddy. But, it's nothing like years past where we've had, you know, deluges of rain. So it was a very short storm. Things got muddy and by the end of the festival, it dried out. So,
How was the dance tent? I remember last.
good, no issue.
Problems.
The suggestions we made to keep it open all the time.
Uh-huh.
And not restrict people from coming in until after the concert's over. That completely fixed the issues we've had there. In conjunction with Country Thunder, I shouldn't say in conjunction with, at the same time as Country Thunder was DOS Fest
Yeah,
at the county fair. There was, 0 problems there. Their expected attendance was, well, the attendance was much below what they had advertised as. They actually asked if we could send deputies home early. But Salem Lakes is in charge of that, and that was part of their plans to allow them to have the event. So we did cut one deputy out early. Other than that, that event went off without a hitch.
I heard it was the first year.
Yeah,
for that
this is the
particular
first
event.
year at this location. It's a long-standing event, but it moved here. I'm hoping, next year, the plan can be not during Country Club
Right.
again.
Sense.
So overall, we're very happy with how Country Thunder and Dust Fest went. And I'll take any questions.
Any questions?
Do you staff Country Thunder with just deputies now, or do you use other agencies as well?
No, we used, KPD had, sure exactly how
Doesn't
many
matter.
hours.
But there
Yeah,
are.
KPD, State Patrol, Parkside and Pleasant Prairie all helped out this year. And they bill us and then we take that out of the file. So,
And the calls for service and tickets are pretty much standard, average?
Yeah. yeah, there's,
Nothing,
we luckily didn't have any major incidents this year.
that's good. Yes,
Mr. Chairman, if you'd indulge me for just 1 second, I try to make a point of saying this publicly whenever I can. I have been kicking around now for about 25 years. Before I was your friendly neighborhood corporation counsel, I did a stint in private practice and a stint in the district attorney's office. So I've been around long enough to remember when Country Thunder had private security And it literally was the Wild West. The difference between then and now with the sheriff's department handling, or the sheriff's office handling security is night and day. And whenever I get an opportunity to publicly commend the office for the incredible job they do out there, I take it. So thank you.
Yeah, well done. Very good.
And
Yeah.
living out there, I haven't heard anything from any feedback from the village or
We
anything.
tried to minimize the impact it has on all the people around it, and I think we've successfully done that. There was some fence issues that were reported to somebody on this committee. Well, maybe it wasn't this, somebody on the county board called me about a neighbor who had a fence issue. I told Country Thunder about it. They put an anti-scale fence up along that whole fence line during the event. So it was great. They've become, we're not so much adversarial anymore. We work together to get things done, and I think it worked well.
So, Sheriff, you said recruiting is up, there are no vacancies, is that what you said, or did I misheard you?
We had over hired a correctional officer, and right now we're about zeroed out. Yeah, so we're about 5.
Okay,
So the over hire, so the application process.
okay. How many people are retiring, do you know?
And
One, okay. Any more?
they're, you know,
2 people retiring? Okay. Tough shoes to fill, huh?
yeah. Okay.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay,
All right. Next, we have Wisconsin,
We done with the sheriff?
I'll jump back in your.
oh, I'm sorry.
Just if you have any questions for the stuff I covered already, but since I do have this opportunity, I still, based on what Mr. President said, I'd like to take the opportunity to say, we may not be sitting at this table with Captain Camera again. So what a phenomenal job he's done for the past few years. And when we talk about how he's trying to mitigate the situation in Twin Lakes, you're familiar with that area, go there, out in that area. He's done a phenomenal job. And the complaint about the neighbor, that's legit. We looked at that fence, like, hey, we need to help this guy because, you know, the crowd goes, but Country Thunder's been phenomenal, and it's because of the way he was out there very early in the morning. He touched space with all the right personalities that stays through the whole time. And by having the opportunity to have captains and command staff out there all the time, that's been a big difference. They the environment of the whole thing is just calmed down a bit. So thank you.
Supervisor Brooke.
So do you have a succession plan for him, the Country Thunder?
We
Based
do.
on what you just said?
We do. We've been working on it. Yeah, we do. We have a succession plan for all the positions. We do. Yeah.
Good. Okay.
It'll be more than just one person probably doing that. You can get to this.
That's how it usually works.
Yeah, right. Yes, sir.
I think we changed your recruiting age to 19.
We did.
Are you seeing?
No.
19 application,
It's really a non-issue that, like I said,
but we didn't see this massive of people's brain who's not developed yet come in and apply for the market.
absolutely not. It's just that,
Thank you.
it would have been a one-off, like I said, for us anyway, but yeah, everything's pretty good, actually. There's some really good candidates, so. All right, if there's nothing else, yes, sir.
So about a year ago, we talked about the agreements that we had with the villages in the county.
Yes.
And towns. And there was a change in the way that the officers were reporting, right? Because they were going by badge number and then they switched back to car number, right? And that was all in an effort to help track how much calls of service that each municipality that the sheriff's department has.
By unit number, our software wasn't able to do it, but now we're
Right,
able to
right.
do it. Our data.
So I'm looking for an update on that, and I know I'm just asking you now.
Sure.
If you have any information or not, but the whole idea was that there's an agreement with each of the municipalities to provide X amount of service.
Correct.
And we want to know, are we providing, X times 1.5 times 2 times what? What are we providing as a sheriff's department? So I'm wondering if you have that,
Or those, I don't have.
if there's been if
For those contracts,
you've been tracking that and no.
that's what we've been doing. Where'd you go?
we've been tracking it for, we changed the call signs in November or December. So we are now getting to the point where we have a good amount of data. And, we've had sample reports on that data, but, we can get one made up and we can distribute it. I can email you the report or I can present it.
I'd like to understand kind of where it's at. I think we were all curious, even including yourselves, of, okay, it seems like there's been a lot of calls for service. We provide extra support from time to time. How is that all balancing out? So I'd just like to know that. I think that
No, we have.
can't speak for the other committee members, but I think that there's
So
a
I think everyone's going.
level of interest as well.
That's absolutely looking good time. Nothing else? I would, if there get a question?
No, I was gonna ask Eric when his last day was. Captain Frank, sorry.
January 23rd.
Oh, we got long weeks.
Well,
4 months.
thank you, Sheriff. Yeah.
So we have, I've invited, and I appreciate you putting it on the agenda. I sent an email this earlier today because I was looking at the old one before it got put on there. So Wisconsin Community Services, they've been with us for 20 years. They contracted to the sheriff's office. I took office, I went through all the contracts. I was wondering why we're paying that bill. It's painfully obvious at this point that they are a valuable portion of what we do here and the whole judicial process here in Kenosha County. So I'm not going to steal their thunder, but I've had a couple of really good informative meetings with these two, Sarah Carpenter and Matt Ruley. Really, okay. I mispronounced it, but I'll find you a chair and please come up and I'd like to tell you what they do. So.
Well, welcome.
Welcome, thank you. It's been a long time since I've been in front of members of the county board, so we really appreciate your time. My name is Sarah Carpenter and I've been with WCS for 35 years. And next to me is Matt Reilly, and he's been with the organization for 23 years. And so we've been involved with this contract for a long time. We've had this program since 1997 in Kenosha County, and we are as committed more than ever today as we were back in the day when I was not at that time in charge of the program or the contract with Matt. So I appreciate your time to tell you a little bit about the program and the impact that it does have on the people that we serve in the greater community of Kenosha. So what we do is that, we're providing safe supervision to these individuals, providing them a lot of services for people who are pending criminal operating while intoxicated charges. So they're released while their charges are pending from jail after being arrested. And again, we are providing close supervision and support to these individuals to work with them, to ensure they appear in court, to ensure that they're following their conditions of bail, and to reduce recidivism. So this program has a real big positive impact on people, and I'm going to tell you about some of the people, what they say about the services and the staff in Kenosha. So we're not only improving their overall well-being, but we're improving the greater community and safety by providing this intensive supervision and support to these people. And some of the things that we do to help them change the course of their lives are, again, safely monitoring and supporting them in the community versus sitting in jail while their case is pending. They can maintain or secure employment. We support a lot of people with finding employment, care for their children, access treatment, have support to reinstate their driving privileges. And we provide them with a lot of referrals and access to community resources to meet their basic needs, and then just specific needs that often impact their level of risk and need as individuals in our community. Some of those things include housing, food insecurity, energy assistance, pro-social connections and activities, connections to jobs, childcare, self-help groups, and mental health services. So when those individuals come through our doors, our staff are providing a very comprehensive intake with a program orientation. We conduct assessments and we're setting goals with those individuals. We routinely check in with them and we're reviewing their case plan, their goals, conditions of bail, and monitoring their progress throughout the time that they're pending final disposition. We conduct routine drug and alcohol testing. We also use the secure continuous remote alcohol monitoring device. And as an alternative, when deemed appropriate by the court, we will use remote breath in rare circumstances when the ankle bracelet may present challenges for individuals. We make referrals for the driver safety plan assessment so that those who are eligible can reinstate their driving privileges to get to employment, take care of their kids, get them to and from school, get to treatment. We are making referrals for treatment, substance use treatment, and guidance to other community resources. As I mentioned, we provide routine updates to the court on their progress with complying with their conditions of bail, and also with very specific goals that they set, including enrollment and engaging in treatment. All violations are reported immediately to the court to really set the bar high for accountability for the people we serve. Again, to support them, but also to let them know that, you know, they're on release and they could otherwise be in custody if they're not complying with the conditions of the court. We follow national pretrial standards and evidence-based practices in all of our programming. And again, to reduce the failure to appear rate in court. So we're helping those individuals, reminding them when they have upcoming court dates. We are connecting them with resources to ensure no future criminal activity. And then we really want to strive to reduce recidivism for these individuals. So the current caseload is as high as it's been in a long time. We're serving 180 individuals right now who are pending criminal operating while intoxicated charges. In 2024, we supervised 325 people, and 72% of those discharged during that year successfully enrolled and were engaging in treatment. 26 were placed on the continuous alcohol monitoring device. 88% were 100% compliant, 0 violations, meaning no drinking events. And we had a few people on the remote breath device and 100% were compliant. And we randomly test them in a 24-hour period 4 times a day. So that's onerous, it takes their participation. And so that's a pretty significant number there. 84% of the people that we serve that discharged were discharged as fully compliant. And 97.3 people that we served appeared for every court appearance. And the average monthly caseload in 2024 was 161. In 2025 through July, we served 263 individuals, with 68% of people discharged enrolled in treatment. We're still providing service to a lot of people. 22 were placed on continuous alcohol monitoring. 95% were 100% compliant with 0 violations. 74% of people discharged were compliant with the conditions of the program and their conditions of bail set by the court. And 97.5 have appeared for every single court appearance. And our average monthly caseload in 2025 is 170 individuals. I do want to highlight that participants do pay a portion of the cost of the program. So every participant is charged a participation fee, and that cost is reduced for those who are deemed indigent. So we're on track. Through August, we've collected $15,370, and we are anticipating to collect at least $23,000 $54 in program fees this year, looking at the average collected each month. And then I'll close with telling you what people who we have served have said about the services and the impact on their life. I think the WCS program really helped me understand that I could move on after this and to make the changes I needed to make for the long-term value, so this never happens again. This program really does empower individuals to overcome adversity with their caring and supportive case managers. The program would not work without the support of these case managers. By going to WCS, it was a way of getting my life back to order, stay more focused on my health, family, and my relationships. Checking in helped me be accountable and stay on the right path. And then my case manager was very knowledgeable and extremely helpful on how to navigate through a rough process. She gave me many tips and advice on how to change my ways and focus on more positive things. She gave me suggestions and recommendations on things to do besides drinking. She made me feel comfortable and took an actual genuine interest in my well-being. I wasn't just a number. So we wanted to just provide you with that brief information about the program. These staff are so committed. Matt is so committed. He's in Kenosha every week, working with his team and ensuring that the services that we're providing are valuable, not just to the people we're serving, but for the sheriff, who's been really gracious to get to know us and hear about the program and allow us to be here. And to talk to all of you, and also to the judges who, really support the program and see its value. I hope I'm not speaking for you, but we really care a lot about the people we serve. They are people in our community, and without the support they need, many of them will testify that they wouldn't have been able to make the changes they made in their life. So, and their family members would say the same. So we appreciate your continued support to this program. And if you have any questions.
Sounds like you're doing good work. Yeah. I'm gonna ask a question that probably a lot of people in the room could answer. So how many times does a person get ticketed for DUI before they're arrested?
You want to answer that?
Essentially, for the most part, the first OWI DUI would be non-criminal. However, if there are extenuating circumstances, if you cause injury or kill somebody, that's a criminal offense. This is your first time. If you have a minor child in the vehicle, there's some answers so if it's your first time drunk driving, but you've got your 10-year-old in the back seat or your infant in the back seat, it's criminal.
Right. So most of the people you're helping are, if they've been arrested, my guess is they're alcoholics or people who.
I think there's a degree of alcohol dependency, yes, for a lot of these folks. I would say there are some people that just make bad decisions.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's not necessarily always what we call a criminal mindset, but there are folks that just make bad decisions. There are people that may not be alcohol dependent, but make bad decisions when they drink, and have to look at how that is.
And that's the importance of the assessments and getting them engaged in the proper level of treatment and care.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you that of those that were admitted in 2024 full year, 80 were pending their second offense, 30 were pending their third offense, 18 their fourth, and 7 were fifth or more. And then 5 were their first offense with a minor passenger, and 22 were due to injury on their first offense. And then you want the numbers in 2025 year to date, I could give you those too, but it gives you an idea of who we're serving.
Thank you. Yes, Supervisor Carroll.
Another question about who you're serving is this, so you're in front of a county committee and working with the sheriff's department. So I presume that this is not folks from the city, that this is just all villages and towns from the county? Okay,
Anybody that is a Kenosha County resident.
It could be city resident.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it could,
Okay.
right, but the focus is not strictly right. Anybody that's a Kenosha County resident, so we do have people, you know, Twin Lakes, Wheatland, Burlington, Salem Lakes.
right. I guess what I was wondering, and I'm asking Supervisor Morrissey because he knows the city fairly well. So is there a whole other bunch of people in the city that are similar program, or is it?
No,
Is it
WTF
everything?
does it for the entire county.
Okay, all right,
Thank you.
okay,
Yeah, they do it for the entire county.
okay. How many, folks do you have that are, for lack of a better term, caseworkers or people that help, support people, provide the support?
So right now we have, 2 full-time equivalent. We have 3 staff, 2 are part-time, 1's full-time. And then Matt is, in charge of the day-to-day supervision, and he also jumps in and provides coverage when needed and is here to support his team.
Okay, and where are you based out of? Like in as far as on premise or?
Yeah, we are, in the safety building, so on the second floor.
It's part of the contract. Part of the breakdown is the space, provide a copier, printing services, some minor essentials like that. So, the levy.
Okay. So how do you, just run me through a quick scenario on somebody gets arrested, brought in to the
Well, the basic process, you need somebody to be arrested, either taken into custody, taken to jail, or in some cases arrested and released and given a court date. And it's usually at the intake court date that our involvement, the process would start. They appear in front of the court commissioner for intake court. And then the commissioner sets cooperation or reporting to our program as a condition of their release, as a condition of the bond. So there are additionally people, for example, that maybe the commissioner sets a cash bond that don't post, that are ordered, if they do post the money, they're going to come to our program. So that the process starts there at the intake court process.
Okay.
Supervisor Morrissey.
So the contract with the county is only 151,000 with cover space and everything else. Who else funds you? I know you said you're gonna raise maybe 23,000 or 21,000. Is there other funds that assist in this?
Yeah, well, those are fees from the people we serve. So when the program started, there was a state statute. Funding came through the state, through the Department of Transportation. And, over the years, we've continued to charge, program fees because, it was a valuable source of revenue. We were required to show a match, to the state. And then the whole plan of the state was to have the counties come up with a sustainability plan. And then the state announced that they would no longer fund the program years ago. And we were, like I said, we've continued to charge fees throughout the duration of the program to support the program and the sustainability of it, and sort of a match to the county funds now.
Are you in multiple counties?
We are, we're in Waukesha County as well. We had a contract in Sheboygan due to funding challenges several years ago. They ended the program. We hope that that doesn't happen here. I think we do a lot for Kenosha, the community and the people we serve. And then we were also in Milwaukee County at one point, and there was a competitive solicitation. So they streamlined programs together, and we were not awarded that contract. We had it for a long time. It was really hard to swallow. We do provide continuous alcohol monitoring services pre-trial in Milwaukee. And then, yeah, we have services throughout southeastern Wisconsin, but, this is one of our primary ongoing intoxicated driver intervention programs.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Questions? Yes,
So this is a contract with the sheriff's office or the courts?
Yes, for sure.
It's the sheriff's office. Okay. And this is just something that the county does. It's not required by state statute.
It's been the service some type. I believe are necessary, but this contract's been in place.
1970.
1970, like.
1997.
1997. So it's been for longer than that. So I mean, my only, I didn't even share. Of course, I knew what WCS was. I used to run upstairs to take people into custody or what have you, or, you know, if there was an issue, we'd go up there. And we'd hear court commissioners or judges referring to WCS, and they're always there for the sentencing. So then it's time to really learn what it does, right? So, you know, I see the budget, and everybody in this room certainly knows what the intensity surrounding the budget process is. So it says, what's this? And so then we get into it. And that's what we've done here, is we spent some time getting to the product, the program a little bit, started with the opportunity to have applications.
And is it routed through like the treatment or is it just, it's just a standard OWI or whatever, or it's just everybody gets, or is it through like treatment court or is treatment court separate?
Treatment
Yeah,
court
treatment
separate.
board is separate.
Okay.
And I just wanted to point out that our current funding level, is $134,467. From the county, and then on top of that, we have revenue again from, those program fees. So they're taking ownership for their involvement in the program. And that has been our funding level since 2021. We have made a request to the sheriff for some additional funding due to, you know, all of the inflationary costs we experience with staff salaries, benefits, things like that. So I really appreciate his consideration and your support for the program.
okay.
We have somebody from the courts to comment on this.
Sure, I'm happy to. Chad Kirkman, I'm Deputy Chief Judge. It's been a while since I've been in criminal court, but when I was in criminal court, we really appreciated WCS. They did a good job of monitoring the people who are out on bond. As they said, sending us letters if there's a problem. We feel more safe, knowing that they're monitoring people who have been arrested for an OWI case. I appreciated them telling us who all was charged with which number of OWI. I hear in other counties, it's not unusual to have an OWI 7th, 9th. We don't get a whole lot of that in our county. And I think that's partly because of WCS and the work they do.
Thank you, Judge.
Yeah, Jeff.
Any other questions? Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate your presentation. Very informative.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Next, we have Kenosha County Circuit Court, Rebecca Tosca-Mentink.
Good evening. Because it's still paper, I'm gonna give you the handouts. They're color coded from what you were provided as part of the agenda packet. And then I also included excerpt from Kenosha County policies as well too. The first thing I want to do is introduce, again, Judge Kirkman is here accompanying us. I also brought our financial services manager, Bethany Lofgren. She is just one of my two managers in addition to the registrar and probate in my office. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was the staffing in circuit court. We're not just a bunch of numbers and dollars and revenue, even though that's what the majority of what we're concerned about usually with the county board. So obviously, I'm the head as the elected the elected clerk of courts. And then we have the court services manager who supervises the courtrooms with the judicial assistants. And she is also in charge of our family court office. Then we have the financial services manager, and she oversees our fiscal department, which is all of our records and collections area, along with all the civil actions and criminal clerks. And she also helps to oversee our interpreter and jury program, and that's done in conjunction with myself. The register and probate has the authority over 3 staff, the guardianship clerk, the probate clerk, and then the juvenile clerk as well. So it's kind of a synopsis. You're probably wondering, why am I telling you all of this? It's because unlike some of the other county departments, and I've worked over in child support, I've worked in the DE's office prior to my tenure as clerk, that there's not as many what I call silos. So there's more employees to interchange when you have a vacancy. You'll have a team of 4 or 5 or sometimes 10 that can kind of do the same position, to do the same duties in case of a vacancy, a leave of absence, or job elimination. You have more people there to suck up that work that needs to be done on a daily basis. In circuit court, we have more silos. So the judicial assistants, each one is assigned to a judge. Each judge is responsible for a type of court. And those are kind of cross-trained. So if a judge is gone, that clerk can go fill in another courtroom. And then we have the 2 floater clerks within there, 2 floater judicial assistants that are trained in all of the courts in terms of the judge's specific needs, scheduling issues, the way they like documents handled, and all those nuances. In family court, we have desks there too. So they're cross-trained within that area, but it's not like I can take one of the staff members from family court and throw them onto my appeals desk, because they're very specific duties trained to that specific area. So that's kind of what my synopsis on this was meant to show you, is that each person is busy. They have their desk. There's daily duties associated with each desk. So when we have some overturn, we have other people picking up those tasks. But again, it's not like we can let the work pile up. It always has to be addressed. Which brings me to something I wanted to bring forward, and something I'm going to be talking about over the next couple of months, is the internal application process. So this past year, I've experienced some turnover, and there was 8 positions this year. Some I lost 3 to retirement. 1 went to another county up north, to their circuit court up there. I lost 1 to another department, and 3 went to alternative employment outside of Kenosha County. And some of those, between the retirements and the leaves, we had some immediate vacancies kind of lumped together. And so we did the hiring pools. We, sought applications. We interviewed, and 1 position was for a deputy court clerk senior. And in that pool, they also applied for an entry-level deputy court clerk. Well, we interviewed them for both. Obviously, we chose the most qualified candidate for that senior position, and then the most qualified in the pool at that entry level. But that entry level position could have also been my number 2 choice on a senior position. Okay, so I've employed 2 new people. So I have the entry level position and a senior level position. They start about the same time. Then I get another retirement in that senior level. Based on the current wording of the policy, even though I qualified that entry level person as a senior, because she was in her 12-month evaluation period, I could not bring her on into a senior position. So I had to go to someone unknown in a different hiring panel and take from there, rather than taking this established person that I had faith in within my department, because this extraordinary circumstance was not deemed appropriate by human resources. So and so I'd like to see the adding of interdepartment. Within a department, I should be able to hire within an evaluation period if I'm comfortable with bringing them on. So in the one situation, I may have wanted to hire that entry level person as my senior, because She had proven her worth. I had already qualified her, and it was just the timing of her start with Kenosha, with my department, that I couldn't bring her into that second level. And I'd like to have that consideration, that if it's within my department, I feel that I should be able to also qualify what an extraordinary circumstance was. Now, if that person wanted to apply outside of my department and then those extraordinary circumstances that are defined by human resources could play into effect. But if I'm only affecting my department, I should be the one who, the department head should be the one who might say, okay, let's hire in a new position. We'll start that evaluation period all over again. And we continue to have an advancement in employment for and support of a current employee, because I never want to hold anyone back. That's been my thought throughout my tenure as a manager in Kenosha County. So I don't know if you have any questions on the staffing portion.
So in that particular case, it says here that the extraordinary circumstances above may be waived with the approval of the Human Resources Director. So did you go to the Human Resources Director and have to be able to waive that, or how did that work?
So the employee has to be aware of the policy, and policy handbook is 30-40 pages, and you read it once and might not think about it. So the employee has to be aware. I don't actively seek people, because then it's hey, John, I just hired you. You might want to consider applying for it. Well, if I end up telling you no, then it's like, did I set you up for failure? So I never really actively go out giving that consideration. But on my last hiring panel, I did email the director ahead of time saying, if any of my internal applicants apply that are up during the evaluation period, please allow them to apply. And I was not given that consideration. One of my employees did seek it out and was declined because the extraordinary circumstance did not exist.
And that's what you're looking to have the ability to do?
Yes.
Internally? So that,
Yes.
what would be the process that you would follow in the case that you're asking us to consider?
Well, I'd like to see maybe waived with the approval of the Human Resources Director or within the department, some type of wording allowing the department head to say, yes, we'll open it up to internal applicants. Employees within my building should be able to apply for a position within my building. And then I'm going to choose the best candidate. So it's not a given that just because you're on, I hired you 6 months ago, and it's not just new hires. I had a person who came into an entry-level position. I hired her as a senior, and then a third position as a lead, which is just a step higher, came open. And I don't know if she was interested or not. I don't know if she contacted human resources for the exception. But I know I didn't hire her as that lead. And so there's some barriers there that don't allow, so she'd been proven with me for over 20 months. And she might not have asked thinking that she was going to be told no. That I think that option should be available to the employees within the department. And then again, that I should be able to consider them all. I might not know someone who's interested in becoming another position. So I said, I just want, the option to hire the most qualified candidate. Because if it goes to the outside and I have no one with CCAP background or court background, but that I can teach people that. Now I am starting at ground zero at some of these very important tasks when I had someone answering phones who had that base.
Supervisor Morrison.
No, I'm confused. So if you have a entry level clerk,
Mhm.
and then you have a senior opening.
Mhm.
that clerk can't apply for that position.
Not if they're within that initial 12-month evaluation period.
Okay, but you just mentioned something about a 20-month person.
So what happened is I hired, Jane. We hired Jane as an entry level. She worked for me for 15 months, and applied for a senior position and was awarded that. Then within that 12-month period,
The lead position come up,
another position opened up.
the lead position. And she couldn't
Well, or it
apply,
could have been a JA position, you know, like I said,
but she
some
couldn't
of these
apply
are,
because she was still in the 12 months for the second.
Correct.
That makes absolutely no sense to me, so you'd write some language, I'd certainly be happy to look at it for you.
Okay.
I don't mean to be rude, but I have to leave in about 2 minutes.
Okay. The second part is the budget update regarding the court support revenue. If you're not aware, the state did give an additional $10 million to the Director of State Courts office that was disseminated among the current formula to the counties. So our second payment for 2025 gave us an additional $150,000 in my court support revenue grant. So the court budget for 2025 is looking very well. I want to caution that that might not continue into 2026. The January payment is supposed to go according to that office, but the director's office has made it very clear that future payments after that are going to be tied to interpreter reimbursement, and counties are going to have to follow a strict protocol to allow for that reimbursement schedule. I can't say whether or not my office is going to be able to comply with 100% of the director's demands. I have 8 judges. I have 3 court commissioners. We have a small amount of interpreters. And if I have to go outside of this director's protocol and get additional interpreters that aren't under there, those dollars aren't going to be qualified for reimbursement, or, you know, that will fall under that revenue piece. So I've made a very cautious recommendation in our submission to the county executive, but I did want to take this time to let you know that, yes, that we had the $150,000 windfall, which should in theory equate to $300,000 increase in revenues, but I cautioned it down because I am not fully, even though I'm very involved in that interpreter process at the state level, I cannot guarantee that Kenosha County is going to be able to fulfill all of those requirements and how the director's office goes forward with it.
Just a quick question. So of the $10 million, you got 150,000 of that.
300.
300,000.
Mhm.
Was that based on a formula? Was that based on the number of judges and courts, or how did they break up this $10 million?
There's a very magical formula that takes into a lot of effects, including the number of judges. 1 county judges get a base fee plus $10,000. And so it's yes, according to that, it's according to revenues that we collect, fees we collect, the number of cases. Population is another one. So even though there's other 8 judge counties, our dollars won't match per se because it's also based on population.
Okay.
And then the last line item is regarding bond forfeitures. I wanted to bring this forward because during the course of the budget presentation, you'll hear from at least my office, we have a bunch of guesstimates. We're approximating it. We don't know the fees. We don't know the costs, and we go from year to year to year. The bond forfeitures is a pretty significant line item where it's like, I just never know. I don't know that someone released on a $25,000 cash bond is going to violate and that money is going to get turned over. I also don't know that if that same person who violated in October of last year, and so we got that $25,000 as revenue from last year, doesn't now appear in court today and a judge reinstates that $25,000. So that takes away from my revenue piece because now I have to put it back into our trust. So that's just an example of how these types of fees can ebb and flow during the course of a year, and why when we come before you at budget time, it's like, been kind of cautious on this one, but we have the ability to flow through the different line items within cost level.
Percentage of people forfeit their bond. It seems odd to me that the post bond, right? And then they don't show up for court or if something happens and they just forfeit all that money?
Yes, they could have been charged with another crime. Because one of the things of purposes of bond is basically to do the appearance in court. But one of the conditions is that they not commit any other crimes. So if I posted $5,000 on an OWI third, seems to be the theory tonight, on an OWI third, and then I get caught 3 months later on an OWI third again, which.
So that's probably a more of a prevalent reason for forfeiting bond if it's a.
No, and then there's a lot of non-appearances. I forgot, or I just didn't want to deal with it, or I live out of state, I couldn't make court. A lot of I forgot, and so you'll get that reinstatement. The other thing is signature bonds. So we'll release you on a $5,000 signature bond, and then you miss court, and you're like, it's no big deal. I'm just going to wait to be arrested again. That doesn't happen for whatever 8 months, even a couple of years. We take action on collecting that signature bond. So even though you didn't post it, we're going to use that as an accounts receivable and collect on that. So, and that's where a big chunk of our revenue comes in, is collection on those forfeited signature bonds.
Interesting, thank you.
So that's just kind of an example of how we guesstimate. It's kind of a feeling, it's kind of a turn in time, a point of view of what the judges are doing, kind of a feeling on, okay, are they more apt to forfeit bond? How many big cases we have coming that could potentially forfeit bond?
But I can see how that's not a reliable source of income. It's because it is up and down. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no way to budget for that.
Well, there's no way for me to say, yes, I'm going
much
to
you're
get
gonna
this amount of money.
Right.
It's not like there's a formula for that.
Right.
And that's one of the many line items where we don't have a formula for. It is kind of just that feeling.
Right.
So, and then really briefly, it's not, as part of it, I did want to touch base on the ceremonial courtroom. I believe, and Judge Kirkman can hopefully concur, that the line of communication between the Mosby Construction and us has been very fluid. They're letting us know of issues that are coming up. They're checking with the judge in terms of scheduling to mitigate the causes for disruption. So that line of communication is going, and as of the last, we meet every 2 weeks. They're pretty much on course. I'm sure, hopefully you're hearing updates from on the facility side of that, but they're on course to.
When are they scheduled to finish?
July.
June or July, yeah.
Of next year?
Yes. Yeah, so there's good progress. They're working on the HVAC system right now, and no glitches. If we see anything awry, they're very responsive. Initially, their trailers were parked up against Sheridan Road. That was a visual obstruction in terms of exiting onto Sheridan Road. So we asked that they move back by the DA's office building closer to that, and they did that within a day of our request. And as I said, I'm just really impressed. I've worked on a number of these large projects regarding the courthouse, and this is exceeding already high expectations, at least from my point of view.
How are the judges doing? Are they happy?
Yes, for the most part, we're having some challenges with the DA's office and their staffing. Their staffing is way down. Yeah, and that's causing a lot of challenges. For example, the DA himself didn't bother showing up for a restraining or a restitution hearing today. So the victim didn't get their restitution money because the DA didn't bother showing up. It's terrible. Other than that, we're doing great.
Was there any reason given for,
That's him. He doesn't show up and doesn't communicate. I invited him to the last judge meeting to give us, an update, and he just blew us off and didn't show up.
is this frequent? or-
Yes. We're down to maybe one prosecutor per, criminal court room, which is awful. They're showing up unprepared. They're not giving offers. They're not providing discovery, causing lots and lots of delays. We have people sitting in jail now because of this. That is a mess.
Where does this go?
Where does what go?
Well, I mean, what's the future here?
That's a question for the DA. There's only so much us judges can do. We have a DA, he's in charge of having a staff. Much of his staff has left him, except for maybe 3 or 4.
Sounds like it's shutting down.
It's hard to get any movement. Yeah. It's a mess.
One thing,
What can we do?
Good question, other than asking questions and asking him questions, asking him, what's your plan? That's a good place to start. That's why I invited him to a meeting, so he could tell us what his plan is.
Do you know when he's coming back here?
For us, next month.
I'd be happy to be here and witness what he says.
If anyone's always welcome, so.
Yeah, appreciate
You're
that.
always welcome. Well, thank you. Appreciate that.
I wish I had better news.
Yeah. Okay, well, I think we're good.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time and interest and supporting our system.
Thank you for all your hard work. Appreciate it. Thank you as
Are you
well.
gonna come up with some verbiage that you wanna
Yes.
propose? And I don't know where it goes from the handbook forward. I don't know if that's in our court or not, probably
Yeah,
not.
I need to find out
Gotta
about
figure
that,
out who-
but the language for HR, we have some say in.
Because that doesn't just affect your
No,
area, that's
what if I,
county-wide.
you know, each county department, or, you know, if I'd even be happy with the caveat, except in circuit court, who shall determine that
Sure.
everyone can apply.
And if you want to give us some proposed language, how you want to word it, that would be fine.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
sure.
Thank you
We
very
can
much.
look into it.
I think it would be best, not department specific, but so that everybody could benefit from it, all department heads.
Yes, that was kind of
Yeah.
a little unjust, but
Yeah.
in the event, it doesn't go that way, but
Right.
thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we don't have anything left on the agenda other than to adjourn. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, we have a
I'll second.
first by Supervisor Carroll, a second by Supervisor Brookhouse. Youth and Governments?